Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn how to play the diminished, one particular diminished lick, one that is extremely common in Gypsy jazz, but I had some trouble figuring out how to do it myself, so I thought I'd better put out a tutorial. And it goes something like this. But there are some variations. You can jump back and forth. So you can do. And so on. And you can use this over dominant chords that lead into the roots. So for example, in minor swing, you have the A minor, the D minor, the E dominant, which leads back to the A minor. And also I feel that it fits better towards the end of the song. So minor swing continues with, and then the last E dominant that leads to the E minor, you can use the diminished scale over that. So, how do you play it? Which notes go into the diminished scale? The diminished scale is a scale built upon minor thirds, which means if you, for example, should do a G diminished chord, you have the root G, and you have to find out somewhere to play the G's minor third, which is the B flat, and the B flat major third, which is the D flat, and the D flat major third, which is an E. And if you take the E's minor third, you have the G again. So the diminished chord only has 4 notes, and they are reoccurring. So one good way to do the diminished chord is the top 4 strings. So, well, let's begin from the lowest. It's an E, then you have B flat, a D flat, and a G. But if you move all those notes a minor third up, you have the same chord, only, for example, the E suddenly has moved up 1 octave, and the B flat also moved up, the D is the same but on a different string, and the G is 1 octave lower. So that means you can just move the chord in intervals of minor thirds, and it's the same chord. And that explains why I can move it around as much as I want, as long as I stick to those particular chords, which is the same chord, but different voicings. And for this particular riff, you take that chord, which I showed you, you discard the lowest one, so you just, and it's best if you do it with the middle finger, the index finger, and the ring finger. And you actually begin with taking your third finger and just letting it form an open E. So it's, so the first chord is, the second is, and then move up 1 minor third, another, and yeah, one other. So that's basically all there is to learn. Now let's move on to the right hand. It's a bit trickier because you want to get it as smooth as possible, and it's reminiscent of slide or sweep guitar. Sorry. You begin with an upstroke on the high E, and then downstroke on the G string, another one on the B string, and another one again on the E, and then up again on the E string, down on the G, down on B, and down on the E string. So if you just let every note ring, it would sound something like. But I think it's better to just practice with letting your fingers rest on the strings, so that so you can just focus on getting the rhythm right. Like I said, you want to get it as smooth as possible. You don't want sound to let it sound like. You want it to dig it, 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 dig it. So work on that, and now it's time to put two and two together. So the first chord is that one, like the diminished. Well, a diminished with only 3 notes, with this finger off the fretboard, and just let the high E ring out. So it's and then you move everything up 1 minor third, and again, and you can let it resolve into a D. So this would, in the key of D, it would work nicely over a dominant, because A leads into D. Sorry. You can hear this particular lick in, for example, Improvisation Number 1 by Django Reinhardt. And so on. Also in Bossa Dorado. And just whenever and wherever you want to use it. It's once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. And then you can move on and doing other string groupings. You don't have to use 3 strings, you can use only 2, which means it will most naturally come out as triplets. Right? So for example, like Gonzalo Vergara does. It's been a long time since I played that one. And that's just the just 2 strings. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. And another little trick I think Gonzalo plays, if I hear it correctly, is he forms an octave. Like for example, the G and the higher G, the 12th and 15th frets in the G and E strings. The B string is dampened by the index finger, so that doesn't ring out. And you use the same picking pattern as with, but so. And like I think he does is, and so on. And that's it. Have fun.